Hi.
You want justice? Leave him to me.
Dwight Manfredi might be bulletproof, Margaret. We are not.
My father says something. There's something about hurting people close to me.
The leaked scene begins in silence. No dialogue, no background music, just the hum of tension pressing against the walls. Dwight sits alone in what used to be his sanctuary, the bar. Empty bottles line the counter like trophies from a war he can't remember winning. Every light flickers like the city itself is holding its breath. Then, a sound, barely a whisper. The door creaks open. Someone's watching him. But it's not an enemy he can shoot, not a rival he can outsmart. It's something colder, more patient. The consequences of everything he's done. That's what makes episode 8 so suffocating. It's not the bullets, it's the silence before they're fired. Sheridan's writing turns the city into a living witness, a pulse of neon, blood, and betrayal. You can feel the paranoia crawling under Dwight's skin. Every ally has turned cautious, every favor feels transactional, and every secret is just one confession away from being a weapon. He built his empire out of loyalty, but now, loyalty is what's killing him. The leak shows a private conversation between Dwight and Mitch that was never meant to reach the audience this early. It's raw, it's personal, and it's dripping with that hopeless kind of rage only a man betrayed by his own code can feel. Mitch warns him, "They're coming from inside, Dwight." But Dwight just smirks, because deep down, he already knows. The house isn't collapsing. It's already burned, and he's standing in the ashes pretending there's still a roof. And that's the real horror of episode 8. It's not the violence, it's the acceptance. Dwight has stopped fighting to save his kingdom. Now he's fighting to make sure no one else sits on his throne. You can see it in his eyes, the kind of calm that only appears when a man decides he's already dead, but he's taken everyone responsible down with him. Sheridan's direction leans into that madness, shadows moving like ghosts, dialogue clipped and cold, and the city streets echoing like a confession booth. The tone is relentless. The tension doesn't climb, it tightens. Like a noose, slow and deliberate. Dwight isn't the hunter anymore. He's the bait. Every move he makes draws out the snakes hiding in his crew, the ones smiling too long, staying too quiet, or showing up just a little too late. Even the feds circling from above don't realize they're walking into a storm Dwight himself set in motion. He's not running anymore. He's watching, waiting, calculating. What makes this leaked scene so disturbing isn't what's said, it's what's implied. There's a new player, one we haven't seen before. Their name isn't spoken, but their presence is felt in the smallest details. A coded message on Dwight's phone, a missing piece of evidence, and that haunting line whispered over the phone before the screen cuts to black. "You should have stayed buried, King." That single line changes everything. It flips the story from survival to reckoning. Episode 8 isn't just about Dwight losing his grip. It's about someone else tightening theirs. Every deal he made, every body he buried, every loyalty he bought. It's all coming back, one move at a time. The leaked ending doesn't show who's behind it, but it shows something far more dangerous. Dwight smiling. Not with arrogance, with acceptance. Like a man watching the match he just lit, waiting for the explosion. That's why this scene feels like a turning point for the entire series. The leak isn't an accident, it's a message. Sheridan knows exactly what he's doing. He's daring the audience to question what's real, what's planted, and what's being orchestrated right under our noses. Because when a story built on control starts spinning out of it, there's only one truth left standing. Chaos doesn't destroy kings. It reveals them. Episode 8's leaked ending doesn't close the book. It rips the last page out, sets it on fire, and makes you wonder what Dwight's final chapter will even look like. Redemption? Impossible. Survival? Unlikely. But revenge? Oh, that's guaranteed. Because when a man like Dwight has nothing left to lose, the only thing left to fear is what he's willing to become to get even. Tulsa doesn't sleep anymore. It waits. The air feels heavier, like the whole city's holding its breath before something catastrophic. Episode 8 opens that wound wide. The Dunmier family, the so-called royalty of this fractured empire, are bleeding in public. Every secret they buried under their polished smiles is now rotting in the open. And the leak doesn't pull any punches. It shows their dynasty turning into an autopsy. Money, power, legacy, all dissected under the harsh light of exposure. The first half of this section feels like watching an empire choke on its own arrogance. Dunmier Sr., once calm, composed, the puppet master, finally cracks. He's shouting in a boardroom full of ghosts. His son, the one groomed to inherit the throne, doesn't even flinch anymore. The betrayal is no longer a rumor whispered in smoky rooms. It's carved into their bloodline. The son's rebellion isn't just emotional, it's strategic. He's been feeding intel, rerouting shipments, quietly aligning himself with someone smarter, colder, and infinitely more patient. That someone is Dwight Manfredi. But here's the twist. Sheridan drops like a loaded pistol on the table. Dwight doesn't reach out to the son. The son reaches out to him. You can practically hear the disbelief in Dwight's voice when the call comes through. "You think you're ready to deal with me?" he asks. There's a pause, long enough to make the audience's pulse spike. Then the son answers, "I think I already am." That line alone changes the geometry of power in Tulsa. The predator-prey lines blur. Dwight, for all his grit and history, realizes he's been outplayed in one corner, but given a gift in another. A public implosion of the Dunmiers means the city's fear starts to pivot. People stop whispering Dwight's name like a threat and start whispering it like a prophecy. That's the kind of chaos he understands when everyone's scared enough to listen again. The leaked footage paints the downfall like a slow-motion car crash. Reporters swarming, police lights cutting through glass towers, the son walking out of a courthouse with that hollow look of someone who knows he just betrayed his blood. And inside all of that madness, Dwight watching from a distance, face unreadable, cigarette burning down between his fingers. Sheridan's writing turns the scene into poetry made of smoke and vengeance. It's not triumph, it's calculation. Because Dwight doesn't just see opportunity, he builds a trap around it. He starts moving his pieces quietly, like a man rearranging the deck chairs on a ship he knows is sinking but still wants to steer. Every favor he's owed, every name he's kept in the dark, he calls them in. But he's not asking for help, he's setting bait. The Dunmier chaos gives him cover, the perfect distraction while he goes after something bigger, the leak itself. Someone inside his circle is feeding information to the feds, and now, with Dunmier's meltdown drawing every eye, Dwight finally has room to smoke out the rat. The leaked scene cuts between two worlds, the Dunmier's chaos and Dwight's silent war room. The pacing is deliberate, surgical. You hear the hum of a refrigerator, The creak of old wood, the ticking of a watch. That's all. No music, no dialogue, just Dwight writing names on a piece of paper, crosses through one, circles another. The kind of stillness that screams louder than gunfire. Then he says one word, "Tonight." That's how you know something's about to break. But the genius of episode 8 isn't in its explosions, it's in its restraint. Sheridan doesn't show the betrayal unfolding. He makes you feel it. You sense it in how people stop meeting Dwight's eyes, in the hesitation before someone shakes his hand, in the way even his closest ally, Mitch, starts looking over his shoulder. The show turns tension into oxygen. You can't escape it. You just breathe it in until it burns. And then, the moment that seals the deal, the leak's midpoint revelation. We see security footage, grainy and distorted, from a private club Dwight once controlled. Someone's there after hours.